beautiful human life.
In the shadows of the city, where danger lurks around every corner, our hero faces his greatest challenge yet.
Will justice prevail, or will the forces of evil triumph?
Stay tuned, dear listeners, for another thrilling episode of The Shadow Knows.
So I almost didn't make this video, but I've got a feeling it might be one of the more important ones. I've been releasing these update videos for Sleep Awake about every 2 weeks, but after the last one I felt like an absolute champ. I'd got Kai interested making minis, my rules were getting sorted, lots of views and lovely feedback on a couple of the different platforms, and really for the first time I started to see the game as something that other people might want to play. With the idea of Rizzo printing in mind, I thought I'd try and make some art. So I used this free image editing software.
Bring out the GIMP.
I used some pictures of some of the minis that I'd taken and then brought them into the program. Oh, before I did that, I cartoonized them. I made them silhouettes. And then because Rizzo printing is kind of a maximum of about 4 colours, I picked my 4 colours, this kind of purple, and so on, and I was kind of really happy with it. I really like the style. Whether or not I'll get something Rizzo printed, I think it is the perfect aesthetic for the rule set, and I think that it'll really help the overall look of the game. But then, firstly, I jumped the gun with semantic waves. I had got the right idea, but the way I explained it in the video is actually back to front. So when it's high, that is the bigger picture, and when it's low, that's the fine detail. And that's just proof of me getting overexcited about a concept and running with it. I actually did it in the very first video. I called the pentacles pentangles. Now I know it's only a tiny thing, but those things really narc me because it's my over-enthusiasm. But at this point, things are going really well. So I turned to carrying on restructuring the rules and writing it up much better. Plenty of advice from my brother, and I kind of deconstruct it, and then I don't know where to go and where to start. So I did a thing that I have a little tendency of doing, which is it getting hard and then me just changing tack and trying to do something completely different. So a while back I had an idea for a game. I'd watched something on YouTube which was talking about how in medieval manuscripts you'd sometimes find in the borders pictures of knights fighting snails. In fact, in the borders of a lot of these medieval manuscripts there's all sorts of weird stuff, and I just thought it was really interesting. So I thought, what if I made a little skirmish game which was knights versus snails? So I write up some 1-page rules, I write this whole intro. So because I can't get into writing the rules because it's got difficult, I decided to make this video, which I posted the other day. And it's actually, you know, like on Reddit, they seem to really like it and they're really interested. They're asking me questions about it.
In the shadowed annals of a forgotten age where the veil between order and madness grows thin, a band of once noble knights sealed their doom with a single act of greed. These once revered knights, sworn to chivalry and the light of the realm, stormed an ancient crypt, plundering a relic of unfathomable power. Little did they know
Now, I think for one thing, it's not as original as an idea as Sleep Awake is. There's Trench Crusade, there's Turnip 28, and they've got lots of snails and things and corrupted knights and that kind of thing. But I do like the idea of the game, and the bigger art picture that I had for it was as the snails move around the board, I was going to use clear PVA actually on the board, you know, like use glue, kind of ruin your terrain. And it was something that I'd seen. There was Trent Holbrook had done a video where he'd been taking part in this kind of solo tank game where the loser gets their tank smashed with a hammer And it made me think about my granddad. So my nan always says that my granddad would spend hours and hours and hours making these model planes and then go and take them over the park on a Sunday morning and smash them to pieces. And he never took it hard. And I just thought that impermanence of putting in all that time but then it being finite, kind of ruining your board. I think that's a cool concept, but it's not the direction I should be going in. Or at least not right now. So I kit bashed a model to represent a knight, a corrupted knight. And I made myself a snail. We had some shells from the beach from years ago and I had some fun making them. And then I start painting the knight. And it goes all wrong. So I don't like it at all. And I tried to go back to it and it got worse. And I don't know if you guys have ever had this. You probably have. It's the reason why I'm kind of talking about it now. But then I just got this... well, it's only slight, but I got this feeling of despair, My rule set's all in bits and I've got people who are interested. And then my new idea isn't properly thought out. And I'm posting it on YouTube for whatever reason. So I'm just going to say, dry your eyes, mate. It's not a big deal. I do need to kind of pick myself up and dust myself off and stop and think about why I've got back into this hobby in the way that I have. For one thing, on the painting front, it's not as if I've never painted anything that I wasn't kind of happy with. There are these. And I've also had the chance to play The Doomed with my brother and with Jim, and we had an amazing time. I've also been able to play with my sons, loads of Doom, loads of Blood Bowl, all manner of things, plus this little game that I'm making as well, Sleep Awake. Sometimes I guess you just don't know when you've won. So I started to think back, where has all this come from and why is it so important now? So I'm in my late 40s, I've got a lovely wife and 2 sons and things are difficult, not in a catastrophic way, just in a hard adult life kind of way, just the stresses of adult life. And I think it's natural for a lot of people to go back to something, a time when things were easier. And for me, that's going to be my childhood, the 80s, the wonderful cartoons that were made, a lot of which was drawn by Japanese studios, which would make sense why I would like anime and manga so much later on. And the amazing toys. I got into heavy metal, and I was actually doing a rehearsal with the band and I nipped to the loo and they had a bolt thrower poster in there and I thought, wow, that's a mad little connection to not only heavy metal but to the hobby and to Games Workshop. And I think about the Games Workshops of the kind of mid-90s, which is when I would have been going the most, and all those dudes, yeah, amazing. One of the things when I got back into the hobby, the first thing that I did was found my old copy of Rogue Trader. And to me, and you could disagree, it's cool, but I still think it's the greatest book ever written. No, it's not all worked out, but I think I love that. I think I love the fact that it's, a little bit crazy and a little bit of a mess. And I think that gives you so much room to imagine for yourself. And that's really how I feel about the hobby in general. I did go once, it was the first convention that I'd ever been to, and Andy Chambers, Jarvis Johnson, John Blanche, a bunch of guys were there, and they were all accessible, all walking around the hall. I got the opportunity to speak to John Blanche, I got the opportunity to speak to Jarvis Johnson, and they were just the most amazing people. I bored Jarvis Johnson with this idea I wanted to do an undead Space Marine chapter. And he said, hey, think the idea through, send it to me and I'll write you some rules. Jarvis Johnson is going to write me some rules. And I never followed it up because I was only a kid. But that, I think, more than anything, should be the core of the hobby. Or it's certainly where I'm going to stay in this little pocket. So I'm feeling a lot more positive. There are some cool things that I want to do. So looking at Kai's sculpts, I do want to try and do some molds if I can. Now, I'm happy with this guy who's the sword and I love the design for this guy for the cup. And the other two, bear in mind that I sculpted these just for myself, so they were just like nutty things. I just got some milliput and started making them with half an idea. So I think 2 new designs for the pentacles and for the wands I think would be really good. And then because I'm so new to the idea of trying to mould something, I just want to be careful to make something that's going to cast reasonably easily, because I'm not very experienced at all. So there's that. And then the other thing is I have a little music studio, which is a cool little space. And what I'm going to do, it might be the next video or the one after that. A couple of my friends, Dave and Tom, have agreed to play the game with me, possibly a couple more people if we can. And I'm going to do a playthrough with them at the studio. And I think anybody who's interested in the game, by then I'm hoping that the rules will be a little bit better put together. I think the actual core rules could just be played as they are. I don't think I'm going to be changing too much, but you'll get to see the game played in the way that I have in mind, so it should be really, really fun. So if you're with me at this point in the video, thank you so much for watching, or thank you so much for watching again. This is becoming a kind of video, a vlog of a sort, but it's really helping me to think about the position that I'm in and where I should go next. And I know, again, this is another thing that I've wrestled with is should you wait until your whole thing is finished and then show everyone else this kind of finished product? There's something really cool about that, like it comes out of nowhere, this perfectly formed, or as perfect as you can get it, formed thing. Or should you show your workings out? And I think because I'm only a couple of years back into this hobby, showing my workings out has helped, because people have been giving advice. And I can't take all of it, but so much of it has been really, really valuable, and they're possibly not things that I would have thought of myself. So for anyone who's dipped in with a comment or had anything to say, no one has been negative. Everyone has been really, really cool, and it's making a big difference and it's really helping. So thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.